Welcome to a very, very special edition of Inside the Bunker, and it's the offensive from both sides that continues to escalate, with the idea of releasing latest satellite imagery of its precision strikes on the Iranian leadership compound. Now the conflict has entered a dangerous new phase, with Iran shutting down the Strait of Hormuz, which is a channel for 20 to 30% of global oil supply. Meanwhile, the US and Iran too continue to mount the offensive against each other across land and sea. Now, in this very special edition of Inside the Bunker with the one and only Tom Cooper, what we are going to do is deep dive into the kind of tech and weaponry that's being used by both sides. We'll focus on the Iranian side today, or the Israeli side today. But first up, have a look at these pictures. Now, if you see these pictures, what are these pictures? These pictures seem to be like airplanes that have been kept outside the Mirage air base in Iran. But Tom, what are they actually?
Well, that is one of the funniest stories of this war. Actually, already the last war in June. They look like F-4 Phantoms. And one has to admit they are perfectly camouflaged as well. That means yellow color, brown color, green color. Perfectly positioned. From the air, from the satellite, these aircraft look, even from the UAV, these aircraft look exactly like original aircraft. Fact is, actually, these are wooden decoys. And this entire facility serves no other purpose but manufacturing such wooden decoys. And if you check up there at top, you see here?
Yes.
That's an F5 decoy.
Okay.
Yes. So these decoys are then towed to Iranian air bases, positioned in specific positions, in selected positions.
Right.
And the Israelis are left to discover them, to find them, and to target them.
Right.
To waste their ammunition and time and so on.
Right.
So this is, as you can see, these are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. Entire squadron worth under apostrophes of F4s, which are existent for no other purposes but to fool the Israelis.
Fool the Israelis.
Yes.
And do the Israelis get fooled?
Yes, they do. I can even show you a specific example if you show me the Google Earth map again.
Right.
Last year we have seen Israelis striking 2 F-14s at Mirabad Air Base, not far away from where this workshop is.
Okay.
So they have destroyed one F-14 and we're very happy about this.
Right. We'll try and pull that up in a bit. We don't have it at the moment. We don't have the map there. But this edition of Inside the Bunker, what I want to do is for you to explain to our viewers very, very clearly what is the kind of weaponry that's being used.
Yes.
So let's start with the airplanes. One of the first things that stood out for me is that you said that the Israelis are not going into the Iranian territory, but they have aircraft that can fire missiles right into deep into the Iranian territory from the Syrian skies or the Iraqi skies.
Yes.
Right. Now, let's start with this. This is the F-15D. What is the F-15D?
This is originally F-15 was developed as an air superiority fighter, which means an aircraft made to fight air combat, only air combat, nothing else. So over the time, Israel experienced ever less resistance in the air. Therefore, it started converting its F-15s into fighter bombers. That means it started equipping them with bombs. So now the latest development, latest modification for Israeli F-15Ds, these are 2-seat, as you can see, 2 ejection seats. Here is also SATCOM antenna.
Right.
Latest modification for this aircraft is air-launched ballistic missile, which is a huge weapon, as you can see it here. This is a Black Sparrow, or one from the Sparrow family of weaponry. It consists of a booster, which is accelerating it, and the actual warhead and re-entry vehicle.
Right.
So I suspect that this is one of the aircraft that was used or deployed to kill Khamenei, for example.
This could be the aircraft that was used to kill Khamenei. Why do you say that this could be the aircraft that was used to kill Khamenei?
Because the first strike, the opening strike of this war, was for the Israelis to deploy such weaponry to hit Khamenei.
What is this weapon? What is this?
This is, I said, this is the Black Sparrow, one of the Sparrow weapons of Sparrow family. It drops down from the aircraft.
Okay.
And then it accelerates on its own.
Accelerates on its own, and then
it is not easy to launch. This is not, you know, just you fly straight and then you drop the weapon and it flies away. But the aircraft also has to accelerate to specific speeds and climb. So it's launching like this.
Okay.
The aircraft, you know, the missile continues on its own.
As the aircraft is launching, the missile moves forward.
The missile goes. The aircraft is best launch position is for the aircraft to be climbing.
Climbing.
Yes. So the weapon separates and then the engine turns on.
Turns on.
And flies ballistically.
Ballistically, and this is also GPS marked precision in terms of 99%.
Of course, all the possible gadgets in order to make it as precise as possible. We have seen this weapon, by the way, deployed last year for the strike on Hamas negotiators in Qatar as well.
Right, and it's a fast aircraft because it goes up to Mach 2.5 and it's got twin engines, F100 engines. So that means there is always the option of if one engine is hit on a single engine, the aircraft can actually
Of course. It has lots of survivability built into the aircraft. But the point is, foremost, F-15 is big enough to carry such a weapon.
Right.
The next point is,
yeah,
this is one of the weapons that India has recently purchased or ordered from Israel.
Okay.
This is principal reason why I'm showing it. Because in the future, India is going to have similar weapons.
All right.
Integrated on its own.
So we've come back, another one, big development, even as we'll go back to the tech aspect of it. That's the Sparrow that we've bought. But diplomatic engagement is more important for peace. Even as Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he has spoken to 8 nations already, including Israel and Oman. But he's also come out and spoken to the Sultan of Oman, and he's condemned the sovereignty violation of Oman. So Bharat is very closely, not openly making statements, but calling up nations and saying that it is important to engage and you cannot disturb the sovereignty or attack the sovereignty of neighboring nations in a war that you're fighting with a distant enemy. Somewhere this message coming across and saying that this sovereignty violation is not correct. This is even as Oman, Qatar and some of the other nations are slowly shutting down their facilities in terms of for safety, exactly trying what Iran is trying to do. But Iran is not making friends here. Bharat has got engagements, it's got a lot of trade and also Bharatiya people who are working in these countries. And that's why not just ensuring the safety, but also calling and saying, we respect your sovereignty and anybody disturbing or impinging on this sovereignty is not right. And it obviously will not create a place for dialogue. Let's go back now. After that update, let's quickly go back to the other conversation that we were having. The F-15D and the Black Sparrow from the Sparrow family. This is a warhead or weapon head that we have tried to now acquire. And this will be fixed on our Rafale or the Sukhois?
Probably on Rafale.
On the Rafale.
And it is already in service in India.
It is already in service.
On Mirage 2000s.
On the Mirage 2000s.
It's called Spice.
This is the Spice. Okay. So this is the Spice, and that was the one that was used in the Balakot operation.
For example, yes. This is also already one of the weapons already in service in India. Python.
Python, yes, that's the Python.
Python or Spider when launched from the ground.
Python or the Spider. Let's look at the next aircraft, the F-16C, air-to-air, air-to-ground missions. Speed is about Mach 2, F-110 or F-100 engine.
110 engine.
And yes, and one of the most produced 4th-gen fighters.
Yes.
So the Israelis are also pressing this. What's unique about this?
Well, unique is this versatility. This is an older variant, arguably, but you can always add more advanced weapons on it. And again, if you launch Spice from a shallow climb at full acceleration, it flies very, very far away, up to 200 kilometers away.
Now, it also seems to be able to carry more payload. Is that true? Because it's a single-engine aircraft?
Well, carry more payload. This is relative. Generally, they're loading them just with 2 Spices.
Okay.
It's only for operations over shorter range that they are loading them with 4 Spices.
4 Spices, but it's a single-seater.
Single-seater.
So there aren't 3 there because that was a trainer aircraft and it's not even a 2-seater, so it's a single pilot.
It's just a single-seater.
So this will be a smaller and lighter aircraft?
Smaller and lighter, yes. Much smaller than F-15. Roughly 50% smaller.
Yeah.
But very nimble. This is comparable. Actually, Rafale is superior to F-16.
Rafale is superior to F-16. Another one which is a tried and tested and which actually works for us viewers is the Sukhoi MK-30I. Now this is also part of the Israeli Air Force. somewhere the Russians seem...
Indian Air Force.
This
sorry.
is also... this is the Indian Air Force.
Yes. This is one of the latest sub-variants of Su-30 MKI.
Okay. Again, Mark II, is it similar to the F-16D?
Yes, yes. It's just bigger.
It's just bigger.
And more powerful in regards of engines than the F-15D in particular. Also a two-seater. You don't see the second seat because it's under the cockpit.
Under the cockpit, okay.
And this is now the latest sub-variant, recognizable as such, but two antennas here and here, which are enabling it to be linked to the ground stations, to the entire integrated air defense system of India, and to transfer the video feed from the ground up to into the cockpit of the aircraft. It means
but
whatever the ground station knows, the crew knows it as well. I have shown it here. This is a color profile I drew with my hand.
Yeah.
With Darby air-to-air missiles, also of Israeli origin. So it was also, this weapon was already integrated on this system, on Su-30.
On the Su-30, despite these weapon systems being newer compared to the aircraft, which is much older, but this aircraft was able to carry or adapt. How do they do that?
Thanks to very advanced electronics, avionics, and computers of Indian origin, the aircraft is very adaptable. It means you can essentially put whatever you want on Su-30 MKI. You just need to test the separation.
So often
and trajectories and so on. But essentially you can put on Su-30 whatever you want.
You can put anything, whatever you want on the Su-30. We'll show you what all has been put on the Su-30. The next one is where it's tipped with the Brahmos. Now, how is this possible? Wow.
This is the most powerful weaponry in service with the Indian Air Force. Again, Su-30, here an older sub-variant, no antennas for the software radios, but it has a Brahmos. This is the Brahmos.
Yes.
This is what it looks like when it's packed, so to say, when it's released.
Okay.
On release, there is two small jets kicking away the cap, which is covering the intake. Okay. So, and then the missile accelerates on its own. Next step in the Brahmos, once it's launched, this is this is the booster. Okay. This falls off once the missile has accelerated to its cruise speed. So essentially, you have then this part of the missile flying away from the aircraft. Okay. And then just this part of the missile striking the target. Striking the target. So the missile actually becomes smaller and lighter. And lighter, so that means it's able to go faster. The other thing is the Brahmos's loop is something that nobody's been able to figure out. It's got an S loop, doesn't it? The cruise missile, because of which the interception of the Brahmos becomes very, very difficult. Yeah, it can maneuver in its terminal attack phase, which means once, for example, you can program it to fly low along the ground, and the other way is to program it to jink up and then to dive up on the target in order to, for example, penetrate an underground target. Like Kirana Hills. Like the Kirana Hills. Yes. So this is the Brahmos as it is when it is loaded on or packed onto the aircraft. Yes. And then it is between the intakes, so it's only the front part is visible when it's attached to the aircraft. Attached to the aircraft. So this is how it looks. Then as it drops, this part breaks away. Comes away. The jets push this off, open up the cap, so then it becomes tipped like this. And then this part, the back part, is the booster which the moment it gets to cruise mode, so till this part is shaved off. Something like here. What is particular about Brahmos in comparison to its Russian origin, the Indian scientists have developed a very long booster which is actually stretching through the body of the missile, which is stretching the range of the missile. So in comparison to its original. So it is a very powerful missile. We have seen it in action last year. Right. But it is a very big, hefty weapon. Therefore, India is already working on Brahmos NG, which is new generation, which is going to be smaller, lighter, and compatible with smaller aircraft than Su-30. Right. Now, one of the older aircrafts which he talked about that had the Spice and also the Hammer is the Mirage 2000. Now, again, a tried and tested aircraft among the Indian Air Force. What makes this aircraft so special? And what is it going to be replaced with in the future generations? Mirage was always special because of its avionics, because of these computers which are making other type of or actually easy to adapt additional weapon unit. When during the Kargil War, Indian Air Force wanted to have guided bombs, it was relatively simple, under apostrophes, to put a lantern targeting pod and guided bombs acquired from Israel on it. In this case, this one is shown in its latest variant, which is Mirage 2000 IH. This is a very advanced system nowadays, including Mika air-to-air missiles and Israeli-made Spice.
Yes.
Additionally, Spice is coming in several calibers. In 250 kilogram, this is this variant. In 500 kilogram, and in 1,000 kilogram variant. Depending on the target, you can put this kit of the weapon. This is the guidance head of the Spice. And these are the fins, the steering fins. You can put it, attach it to whatever warhead you want to use.
Right.
And therefore it's Spice 500, 1,000 and 2,000.
1,000 and 2,000.
Yes.
There's one thing which we skip, but because we want to bring the focus back onto the Iran-Israel-US conflict right now is the F-16I. The Israeli Air Force is also pressing this into service. And it's been customized for the Israeli Air Force.
This is a customized variant just for the Israeli Air Force. Sure, from it, the Lockheed Martin has developed different other sub-variants for different other air forces, but this is the heavily customized variant for Israeli Air Force with extra large fuel tanks in order to reach Iran.
Right.
And then it has, for example, is compatible with such weaponry like Delilah.
Okay, this is Delilah.
Yes, this is Delilah. This is a turbojet-powered mini-cruise missile.
Okay.
With a range of some 200 kilometers. Here it is under the aircraft.
Okay.
Delilah needs, for its deployment, this big guidance pod. That means the weapon system officer in the rear seat is constantly in contact, so to say, with the weapon. Additionally, it carries lantern or lightning pod. This is this dark pod under the intake.
And
so
it's
a very advanced aircraft.
And
yes,
it's a two-seater.
Yes.
It's a two-seater. Okay.
Pilot is in front, weapon system officer in the rear. And what is also typically for Israel, you can see this little red, white, green.
Yes.
This is so-called kill marking. In this case, for Hezbollah UAV shot down several years ago.
Right.
What is also a little bit different between Israeli and Indian Air Force are these Gaudi unit insignia.
Right.
You can instantly recognize every single Israeli unit by the markings it's applying on its fins.
Right. So that's the marking for the Israeli air.
This is for the 201 squadron, also called nicknamed the Wolf Squadron.
Now this, what you said is again interesting. This is a kill
marking. Yes.
So kill marking means that this aircraft and the pilot has shot down something. So it could be a Hezbollah target or something else, but it has shot down, so this has got kills. So that's how the potency of the pilot and the aircraft, or the legend, builds amongst the Air Force.
Exactly, yes. There are also such kill markings for strikes on Iranian reactors, on Iraqi reactors, on Syrian reactor, and so on. They are applying them depending on what
Right. Now, out of the Israeli weapon systems and the guided missiles, which do you think was India now trying to acquire? You said Spice and Hammer are already there.
Yes.
Are we looking at trying to get the Delilah also?
I'm not sure about Delilah, but certainly ROX or Air Laura. I think this is on the other artwork of the F-16I, if you have copied it.
Okay. Do we have the other F-16D? Was it on the F-16D?
F-16I.
F-16I. F-16I, we've just got this one.
Okay. Never mind. This is the F-15, but it is essentially it's such a weapon.
Okay.
Air Laura is just even heftier and looks a little bit different in front.
Okay.
Air Laura or ROX. They all have two names, one for export, one for Israeli service.
Right.
It's essentially, India is purchasing exactly this kind of weapons as well.
Right.
And what's more, on this aircraft, behind the missile, you can see this jammer pod, electronic warfare pod.
Yes.
This is something, for example, Tejas is already carrying.
Tejas is already carrying this jammer.
It's already in service in India.
Right.
So this is also a point, you know.
What does this jammer actually do? Quickly, we're running out of time.
It is emitting electronic emissions which are jamming any kind of approaching radar-guided missiles. It's hiding the aircraft behind some sort of a electronic cloud,
so-
making
so-
it
so
invisible for enemy missiles.
any of the missiles and the radar to follow. So it's like it's like a frequency shield that's being built
Exactly.
around the aircraft, and Tejas has that. So this was all about the aircrafts that the Israelis are now pressing into service, and also how it is marrying into the Indian Air Force. But this is just the beginning. What about the drones? What about the UAVs? Who's got the better tech and who's got the kamikaze? All of that here on Inside the Bunker with Tom Cooper very soon. Stay with us.